Hi, I'm James, and in this video I'm taking a look at a small test that I've put together constructed from the ShooterGame sample in Unreal Engine 4.7. I downloaded the Unreal Engine yesterday with them making the SDK free rather than being a subscription service to try out. Obviously there are fees if you want to sell anything, there's royalties and all the rest. But we have a slightly modified version of the program here, which I'm just going to load up. So to make this, there have been a few small modifications. First of all, I've had to make a couple small tweaks in the C++ code and also just change the flow of the level loading and blueprinting for the menu screen, just to skip through that so it goes straight into running the test. This level's then been modified so it has a matinee camera route added into it. I've also added in some bots rather than just having spawn places, adding bots directly into the level and moving the spawns to cluster them more around the center where I'm running this route. So we can see here, I think the test lasts around 65 seconds, and it will sort of fly through the level and then just give an overview of the main sort of central section of the level. And while it's been doing this, as soon as it started after that 5-second warm-up period, it was logging frame times. It also displays the stats on the screen, which we can see on the right. And when this completes in a few seconds, so now we'll see in the right hand window it's just created a directory for the FPS chart stats. By going in here, and we are comma separated variables, I'm not interested in the top few lines at the moment, but by selecting those, so this was run on Intel HD 5500 graphics, so a sort of integrated graphics solution. And oh, that is the wrong type of graph. There we go. And from that we can plot out the frame times in milliseconds. So obviously you just multiply these basically by 100. So if you're at 50 milliseconds, then you're looking at 20 frames per second. Just here you can see we had a peak over 100 milliseconds, which means that we'd have been looking at, say, less than 10 frames per second. Whereas if, say, you had 16.6 milliseconds, then that's when you're looking at your sort of ideal 60 hertz or 60 frames per second. This also allows you to look at where the performance bottlenecks are for your game or your system, with the 4 different coloured charts here. So in blue we have the total frame times, in red we have game time, which will be the time taken on the thread that handles AI, physics objects, things like that. Then we have yellow, which is the CPU rendering thread, so commands which are carried out on the processor sides, possibly draw commands, things like that. And then finally in green we have the GPU thread, which is basically the time taken on the graphics processor to process the frame for output. That may also be dependent to some extent on the CPU render thread. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about this to sort of explain that. I hope you found this interesting. Be sure to check out some of the other content on our channel to see gaming performance on different laptops and graphics solutions, and subscribe if you want to see more.